So the method of undetermined coefficients allows us to guess for right-hand sides that were just polynomials, that were just exponentials, and that were just trig functions. Then after that, we had to worry about the homogeneous solutions, messing those up. We would have to multiply by x to fix them. And then after that, we could actually guess sums of those different kinds. So you could have a polynomial plus an exponential plus a trig function. And now you can also guess for multiplying those together. So in this case, we have this generic left-hand side, ay double prime plus by prime plus cy equals a second-degree polynomial times an exponential times a trig function. So the homogeneous solutions can still force you to alter your guess, but for this generic example, the initial thing you would guess is, okay, well, this is a second-degree polynomial. We're going to guess a second-degree polynomial, so ax squared plus bx plus c. Then we would guess e to the 7x. So you don't actually need a constant on the e to the 7x because it's multiplying everything. So you'd end up with, so e to the 7x here. If I did have a constant, right, then it would just be a constant here times the constant on front of the e, and then this b times the constant in front of the e, and the c times the constant in front of the e. So I actually don't need the constant on that one. If you put it in, it won't hurt you. You'll just have another variable to keep track of. Alright, so I've got my second order degree polynomial times exponential, and then times my guess for a trig function, which is going to be d times cosine of 2x plus e times sine of 2x. And you actually don't need this c either. You could set c to -1. Sorry, to 1, not -1, 1. The reason you can do that is if you do multiply this out, you'll end up with a times d times e, and you end up with b times d and b times e, and you end up with c times d and c times e. If c is 1, you can kind of accommodate all the possible things that could happen by changing d and e. Alright, but it won't hurt. If you leave c there, it'll just be one more constant that you have to keep track of, and you can still solve your equations that you get. So I want to emphasize that that's the initial guess. So when you have to watch out, though, is after multiplying out the initial guess for the y particular solution, none of the terms can be a constant times a homogeneous solution. And it has to be exactly a constant times exactly one of the homogeneous solutions. It can't be just part of the homogeneous solution. It's got to be the entire piece of the homogeneous solution. So to fix those, you have to multiply by x to fix the guess. And so now we're going to do a bunch of examples because these can kind of get a little confusing, but we're going to go through all the guesses that you might have to do in these different situations.